means we are in a case of already attack phase already. So we must try and contain. And all the people she had come in contact with, we must trace them by surveillance. Over 100 surveillance personnel around it. You may not know. They are watching, they are going to different based on contacts. I was following all those who picked it. If you say the best of equipment, you see the COVID-19 pandemic is one pandemic that has even embarrassed the best set of arranged medical outfits. Take France, for example. Take United States. What we are saying is the necessary thing that should be done by an arranged and organized medical outfit. The Rivers State government has put that in place and is supporting the Ministry of Health as much as possible.
All right, now, did you by chance have any form of contact with the index case of coronavirus in Rivers State? And this is from Today FM, by the way. Please, kindly submit yourself for testing. Please do the entire state a favor. If you would like to listen to Canada over and over again, please go for testing so Canada does not catch coronavirus. You never know if my immune system is strong or not to handle the virus. So go for testing, please. Go for testing. But then again, with the way Rivers people are stubborn in terms of obeying directives from the Rivers State government, do you believe that Rivers State people or people in Rivers State are willing to support the Rivers State government on this issue in terms of, submitting? I mean, they said about 100 surveillance personnel are out there trying to trace people. But, I mean, the governor first came out and said, close all borders, land, air, sea. And then we got reports that if you have the right amount of money, you might just pass through the borders, right? Not by air, maybe by sea and maybe by land. And then the governor came out and said, markets close, bars close, clubs close. And then yesterday, the governor went on a routine check because he's supposed to be heading the task force, leading the task force. And then he saw some markets open, and that's what gave birth to the curfew, right? Before even was asked to close, suspension of markets, that is, there was the order on 2 at the back seats of a small vehicle, 1 in front. That order is still disobeyed till today. Like I said, I saw it with my eyes. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it with my 2 own eyes. Do you then think, I mean, if 100 people are out there tracing possible contacts, then we can dare say about 100 or more people are out there who might have come in contact with this index case. And that's not to cause panic, but that's just to create awareness. And do you think River State people will be willing? And no, do you think, we like Gragra in this state? Do you think people will be willing and say, let's go for this testing? Or some people who want to hide it and go to a pharmacy. And what's your take on this very one? And this one interests me a lot. 7 minutes left on the clock. Let me get to hear from you. At 95.1 FM, what's your name and where are you calling in from?
Canada, good evening. It's London man calling you from Port Harcourt.
London man, welcome.
Yes, my brother, based on what you have just said from the question about the first index case, regarding to how many persons he got contact with, right? Yes, I think I want to say that governor is right in trying to restrict movement and bringing up the...
All right, but that's not the conversation now. Do you think people will be willing to go out there and say, River State government, come and test me? I probably had a contact with this index case. Do you think that's a possibility?
Pardon? I think it's sorry.
Do you think Rivers people will be open to going for testing? Just maybe because they came in contact with the contact case, the index case?
Yes, I think so. But on the other hand, government should have even like they do during the immunization time. Since this thing has happened, they're supposed to have been doing a house check, especially within the area this index is residing, or within the area of the people he had contact with. I think this should have been done before now. Before bringing up this don't stop. So
right.
There is wonderful news I heard
from
a reliable source. Yes, that the vaccine has been found in France.
We keep hearing, but I would have to check that to confirm. But thank you very much for calling in nonetheless, London man. 95.1 FM, 95.1 FM.
Hello,
What's
sir.
your name? Yeah, what's your name? I can
Yes, I'm more cover for 1 minute. Canada, as River State people, from the beginning, every instruction is not obeyed. Going out for test in Canada, nobody will go out for testing. That is the truth of the matter. If government will do something, that will be forced for people to be tested. Either move to church, market to market, and test people.
But you should understand. You should understand that there is a particular way to the testing. And number one, for now, only NCDC is approved to do the testing. So you
do that.
Yeah. So there's a technique and there's a procedure to it.
If you announce it tomorrow, they will still be where they are.
All right.
Even though you see the symptoms.
All right.
That is people for you.
All right then.
For you.
All right then.
For you.
Thank you very much for calling in. 95.1 FM. What's your name and where are you calling in from?
Hello, Canada. Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
Mr. John.
Mr. John, welcome back here.
Yes. This trace is 100 persons. I don't know that you asked.
No. You said 100 personnel, 100 surveillance personnel are out there tracing persons.
100 surveillance personnel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. They should do well to ensure that they get those people on the
list. All right.
They are danger now to the society.
All right. But do you think these people will willingly come out and say, you know what? I mean, I had contact with somebody from France, you know, so maybe you should check me out. Do you think the Rivers people? I mean, looking at how they have gone against all of the orders of the Rivers State government.
It will be difficult for some of them, especially the ones that don't understand how deadly this is.
All right then.
They will not come.
All right then.
They will need to be forced to come.
All right.
Going to their village, anywhere they are, get them.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
They are now posing danger to the society.
Thank you very much. Now, let's look at what Judge Michael is saying on WhatsApp. He says, Kalada, good evening. I think that in an emergency situation like this, when an order is given and the local government chairman fails to implement the order in his domain, the governor is right to suspend whoever is found guilty. But constitutionally, the governor is not right based on the Supreme Court judgment. Now, Canada, I'm not sure the Rivers people will openly surrender themselves. All those that had contact with the index case should please surrender themselves to quarantine centers for testing and medication. Jaja Michael. All right, this one says, Canada, I feel... okay, first of all, ask me what is the difference between quarantine and self-isolation. Now, quarantine, according to medical practitioners, is when the situation is very severe and you probably you are in no-go area, and so they put you in a quarantine. Isolation is when you're being observed and treatment is undertaken or being undertaken, and you're being observed to see if you probably would respond to treatment. Then this one says, I feel and suggest the suspended council chair should dialogue with the governor as his boss and forget about deploying legal measures. She decks in Port Harcourt, and nobody has talked about legal measures, As I says, my name is Imam Man Agbam from Ejian River State, in line with the directive of the River State governor in respect of suspending the local government chairman. It is in the right direction because he has the power. My name is Imam Man Agbam from Ejian in River State. I would read another one. So it says, Governor Wike should please remove coffee for us. Please let's see food to eat before the various tests of COVID-19. If the coffee continues in Choba, please let him plant for we in the residents. No food, no measures to assist the poor and others. God will judge any leader that is above man's. All right, thanks, Maxwell in Beauty Way. I did not understand your message at the end, but thank you for sending nonetheless. Let's go to the text message portal. This one says, okay, I've read it already. I've read all of them already. Back to the phone line. One last call. 95.1 FM. What's your name and where you calling in from? Yeah, good evening. George.
Hello, my name is Prince Andy.
All right, sorry, Prince Andy. Quickly now, you've got 30 seconds. Quickly, please. 30 seconds.
Yes, the suspension of the Obiakpo local government chairman is highly condemnable.
All right. Even in a state of emergency?
What state of? We're not in any state of emergency.
All right, if you say so.
If the president has done this to the governor when there were shootings all over the state in Rivers State here, people would have been crying foul that the president has no right. Even as then, the president never had intention to do so, but people were, they heard that some persons from Rivers State are going to meet the president to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State. We are crying foul that he has done it to local government chairman. I'm shocked to see here people say he has the right in an emergency situation.
All right.
Even the man was the first.
All right, we got to go now. We got to go now. Prince Andy, thank you very much. The platform has been a production of a news department put together by Victor Eziama. I will be with you same time tomorrow, and probably I would not travel to any isolation centers tomorrow, and probably I would have the right energy for a conversation. Stay tuned for Beats and Pieces up next.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM. Port Harcourt. News update.
Good evening and welcome to today's edition of Beats and Pieces on your premium talk and news radio. Today, 95.1 FM. I am Kala Da Kurubatibo. We start with reports from Katsina State, where one Surajo Abibu has been remanded in prison custody by a magistrate court in Katsina State for allegedly raping an 11-year-old girl. Abibu allegedly carried out the act on the minor who was sent to the bush to fetch firewood. The unidentified victim was said to have sustained injuries in a private part during the attack, which occurred at Danchafa village in Jibia local government area of the state. The incident was, however, reported to the police by the victim's parents, who noticed the girl had been raped. In Niger State, two suspected armed robbers have been apprehended in connection with a sexual assault on a 34-year-old woman. The incident happened in Gadan, a Regi Fulani camp along the Bida Road, Niger State. Reports said Umar Audu and Umar Muhammad, aged 50 and 40 years old, attacked their victim with sticks and a cutlass and demanded for the sum of 400,000 naira from her. When the unidentified victim failed to meet their demand, the suspects allegedly dragged her into a nearby bush and forcefully had carnal knowledge of her. Upon arrest and interrogation, one of the suspects confessed to the crime, adding that they raped their victim after she failed to give them money. A 13-year-old rape victim is said to be suffering from the trauma she experienced after she was allegedly raped by a gang of 4 boys. The victim, who works as an apprentice nurse after school hours, was reportedly approached by one of the gang members on her way to her workplace before the incident. The report said the suspect blew an unknown substance into the victim's face, which left her unconscious for resisting his advances. After noticing she was unconscious, the unidentified suspect carried the victim to an uncompleted building where his gang members took turns to rape her. The police in Ogun State are reported to have arrested a masquerade for defying the government's directive on mass gatherings. The ban followed as part of measures to stop the spread of coronavirus in the state. The masquerade was apprehended at Ijeja area after it confronted some policemen and threatened to deal with them if they dispersed its followers. Police reports said the gathering, which attracted many people, was held to celebrate Masquerade Festival. Following a report by residents, the policemen got to the area and warned the people to disperse, but the masquerade confronted the policemen and threatened to deal with them if they insisted on dispersing its followers. In yet another bizarre incident, an unidentified mother is reported to have burned her son's hand and face with a hot iron for stealing. The woman, who claimed that her action was aimed at stopping her son from stealing, revealed that the child was in the habit of stealing and all her efforts, including punishments to stop him from such act, proved abortive. She further stressed that the scars from the incident would always remind the boy whenever he wants to steal that what might happen if he does not stop stealing. And that concludes today's edition of Beats and Pieces, as produced by Stella Sasungu of the News Department. Thanks for listening. Till the same time tomorrow, do have yourself a lovely evening. Stay tuned for Waiting to Happen, which is up next. And I'll be back to bring you the world news at 6. Good evening to you.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's Sports, today's issues, today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Are you in search of a place to do all your audio recordings? From jingle, documentaries, church messages, and lots more.
Are you in search of a platform to give your business maximum exposure? Look no further. Come advertise with Today FM. With our unbeatable reach, we'll give your business the boost it so dearly needs. Visit us now at number 1 Today FM Drive